All right, so we're looking at this question here. This is one of the recommended questions in the perform section of our video, the video on section 1, which was page 42 of number 9. I'd like to give courtesy to Kaplan Prep. This is a question taken from the Kaplan Prep book, a really nice question. So let's look at it. So we have a realtor. Please ignore that tick and X. I was trying to get rid of it. I'm not sure what happened. A realtor is studying the graph above, which shows the expected value of properties in her area over the next 24 years. If T represents the number of years after 2014, at this point, one of the techniques I share with students is when you have these worded problems, you need to start annotating the problem, underlining and shading very important areas. So at this point, I will underline if T represents the number of years after 2014. So I would have underlined that after 2014. In what year should the increase, so this is also key, the increase in property values start to slow down. Very key, right? So you all would have seen those that I underlined. Okay, so if T represents the number of years after 2014, if T here is on your x-axis and it represents the years after 2014, if you all look at your axis, you realize that every line here represents two years, right? So 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, what is this, 18, 20, 22. So therefore, right here represents 0, right? Right here represents 0. So what I would want from you all is that if this represents 0 and T represents the years after 2014, it means at 0 you have 2014. At T is equal to 0, you have year 2014. So right here is where you should have placed 2014 at T is equal to 0. And therefore, we're looking for what year should the increase in property value start to slow down. They didn't ask what year did you have decrease. They asked what year should the increase in property value slow down. If you look at your graph carefully, you have two increasing lines and you have a decreasing line here. So if I were you, I would begin by eliminating this line and I would pay more attention to my increasing lines. Now, this is where you have to determine which one signifies a slow increase. Now, this line is steeper than this line. So therefore, this line would show a more rapid increase, whereas this line, it's less steep, it will show a slow increase, right? Or a gradual increase. So you are increasing, yes, but it's still increasing, but it's beginning to slow down. So right here is the line that you should focus on. And the keyword is in what year should the increase in property value start to slow down. So start means you have to get to the start of this slowing down line, which is right here. And if you go all the way down, you will get 8 years. So what you will do is you would add 8 years to 2014 and you will get 2022. So your answer in this case here is C. All right, so this is our question 2, also founded on the handout. I believe it's page 43, number 10. And so you would definitely have it. I realized or noted that all the choices did not come out on my board, but of course you have it. So let's look at this question. So this basically it says the graph above shows the cost of joining and buying music from a music subscription service. Again, and a very important tip is to annotate your questions, circle, box, or underline or highlight. Obviously, you're going to be using a pencil on your exam, so we're talking underline, circle, box, your keywords or key phrases. So for me, the graph above shows the cost of joining. So I would underline the cost of joining. Sorry for that line. And of course, buying music from the subscription service, or some people like to kind of write all the key things that decide. To me, that might be a bit time consuming, but again, what does the y-intercept of the line most likely represent? So this is also very important. That's what they're asking you. What does the line y-intercept represent? So your next step would be to locate the y-intercept. Y-intercept is what? The point at which the line, your graph, your linear equation crosses the y-axis, or we can say it's the point at which where your x value is 0 and obviously you have a y value. And this is it right here. On our line, we can confirm our x value. What's on the x-axis? This is the other thing that you have to pay attention. The x-axis tells us the number of songs purchased, and on the y-axis is the total cost. So where's the y-intercept? The y-intercept is right here. And what does the y-intercept tells us? What does the y-intercept of the line most likely represent? That's what they're asking us. So the y-intercept tells us that we spent $20. Let me write it like this. We spend, so I'm going to put y value, we spent $20 for 0 number of songs. And if this relationship is the cost of joining and buying music, it means that when we spent our first $20, we did not buy any music, right? Because it's 0 number of songs purchased. So it must be the cost of joining the service. So therefore, your answer choice would be B, the cost to join the service. Because at $20, if you were to go down to your x-axis, you did not purchase any songs. 0 number of songs purchased. So that tells you it has to be the cost of joining. You did not buy anything yet, but you paid $20 to join. Okay, so in this question here, this is one of the other questions that I recommended in the perform section. It says, what value of n satisfies the equation? So right here, this is what you call a student produced type of question. It's not multiple choice, but you have to produce your answer. So in this situation, we see that we have a whole bunch of numbers and we have just n. So this question is really asking you to find n. That's basically it. Find the value of n. So this goes back to basic algebra. So this question should serve as a recap for some of you who might forget how to solve algebraic equations. So we need to make n the subject of the formula. Firstly, how would we get rid of this 7/8? How would we get rid of the fluff? Or as I like to call it, the shell or the skin of this. So we say 8 over, we multiply by the reciprocal on both sides, 8 over 7, right? So here, 7 into 7, 1, 8 into 8, 1. So this will become 1. And on this side, we have 21 over 2 times 8 over 7. And if you all realize, you can cross multiply quickly. 2 into 2, 1, 2 into 8, 4, 7 into 7, 1, 7 into 21, 3. And we have 3 times 4 is, what is it? 12. So it's n minus 6 equals 12. And then what would you do? To get rid of this negative 6, you have to add 6 to both sides. So you'll get n, this becomes 0, and then you'll get here n plus 12 is 18. So your answer is n is equal to 18. How do you do this? You would start from this corner here, and you'd put 1/8. But on your exam, because these are machine corrected exams, you must shade. So if this column has 1 written above, you'll shade your 1. And then if this column has 8 written above, you come down to 8 and you would shade your 8. So this is how if you do not shade, you will not get this question corrected. The grid is just to kind of guide you so that you can shade your digits, or whether it's your sign, correctly.